Once we've created the images, we need a place to keep them so that other projects are going to be able to access the images, pull the images down, and run them as containers. There are different repositories for storing images, and here are some examples. One of the most popular open repositories is Docker Hub. So Docker Hub itself is a registry, and as a user of Docker Hub, we are able to create a repository to store our images in our repository, and of course others can keep their own images in their own repositories. And all of our various repositories are up in that one registry. But there are other registries as well that are public or semi-public. There are cloud registries like Google Artifact Registry and Azure Container Registry. And just like Docker Hub, different individuals would have a little bit of space in those registries to store their images, their own repository. And so they could keep images up there as well. Now, Docker Hub is going to have both base images, like a marketplace where you can get a starter image, maybe a fairly empty Ubuntu operating system or an Nginx web server that's already partially built, even if it's not completely configured all the way. That's a really good start for your project. And then you can also build your own container images from these base images like we described before, and then store your container image back into your repository in that same registry. So Docker Hub can have both base images and also container images. And really anyone's container image could be someone else's base image, since you could alter the image from that point. Google Artifact Registry is typically used by teams that have deployed a project into Google Cloud, and they want to keep the images close. And so Google provides an artifact registry that's native to that cloud so that you can have your images right there within your own cloud space and not out on a different site across the internet like over at Docker Hub. But Azure also does the same thing and has a container registry, and of course Amazon does as well, and so on and so forth. You can have your own private registry if you want. You can keep your images on any server that you want to set up your own registry on. We'll take a look at one of these registries. This registry is at hub.docker.com, and then we need our own account if we want to create our own repository. I already have an account and a repository. And so your account name is on the left, and then the repository is on the right. Of course, you can have more than one repository under your account. So inside of this particular repository, the Matilda repository, we have the different Matilda images. And they're going to be listed usually by the latest that's been created all the way down to the oldest. And you can give an image more than one label or tag. Take this image right here, for example, LDAP_admin. This image has a software on it, PHP LDAP admin, that is basically a website that lets you interact with an LDAP server. We can tell it's the same image because if we look at the true name of the image, which is its digest, we'll see it's this 15CCC number here. You go down here and look, and it's the same exact number. So this image is really the exact same image. It just has two different names or tags. This one here is tagged as -1.0.12, which is the version. And then this one down here just has the LDAP admin tag with nothing after it. And so this particular version here is just a default version of this image, but it's best practice to also give your images a version number in case some folks would want to use a particular version over another, like somebody might want to use 1.0.10 for some reason, and maybe they don't want to use 12. So it's always a good idea to tag your images with a generic name for folks who just want to use the latest and greatest, and then also give it a version name for the others who are concerned about which particular one that they grab. So if you update the repository, you'll find that the old images stay and the new images is just added into the repo. If you want to get rid of an image that's in the repository, you actually have to delete it. And in this repository, we have 5 different services. So we have an LDAP server. It has 2 tags. We have a web server with 2 tags, a database administration, which is really PHP MySQL admin, and a database, which is MySQL. And these container images themselves were, of course, built from base images. So if we drill down in, we can actually see the commands that were used to create the layers or this particular image from what itself was a base image. And that base image was the MySQL base image is how all of this originally got started. So in the next video, we'll take a closer look at the nature of orchestrators and how they contribute to the container process. We'll also look at the containers themselves a bit closer.